Watch out! Some ocean giants are on the move here. Can you set them on the right course? Then drag the steamers into the matching oceans. Outstanding! First class. Truly fantastic. First class. This ocean giant is cruising in the right waters. Absolutely super! That went as precisely. You're excellent. Where will you find most of the salt water? Which is the deepest ocean? Which ocean connects the Panama Canal to the Caribbean? How did the Red Sea get its name? What is the special characteristic of the Black Sea? How did the Yellow Sea get its name? You've answered everything correctly.
It's bright red, tastes of tomato, and is even used as imitation blood in films. What are we talking about? Ketchup, of course. But who knows the country of origin of this sauce that is popular all over the world? I'll bet that anybody you ask will reckon it's America. But that's wrong. Ketchup does not come from the USA. We owe it to the Chinese immigrants who brought a sauce called ketchup to America. The American Henry John Heinz found this delicacy so tasty that he blended the typical American Heinz ketchup from it. And that was the start of a worldwide success.
Do you know all about the longest rivers in the world? Then click on a barge and drag it with the mouse to the correct river. It does you credit. This message in a bottle has been on a long journey. If you think carefully, you can find out which route it took. Then click on the stamp with the stage of the journey that is still missing. Top class. You'd make a good captain. Super! That message in a bottle has made the long journey successfully. Wow! You've got a magnificent sense of direction. Which river do the Indians revere as holy? Which river flows in Canada? Which river crosses the equator twice?
Kings, artists, presidents. Up to now, the privilege of having their heads immortalized on postage stamps has been reserved for only the world's famous people. But these times are now gone forever in Singapore. Here, anyone can have his own face on the stamps. The personal postage stamp is intended to contribute to making the post an even more enjoyable form of communication. Anyone who wants to display his face throughout the world can receive the first 20 stamps for just £8, and reprints cost only half of that. So anyone who can't make it to the covers of the famous magazines straight away has at least a first opportunity to become a well-known face.
you know your way around the Continental Zoo? If you do, you'll certainly know which animals live on which continents. Which animal lives where? Which is the biggest land animal? Which is the heaviest bird of prey? Which is the biggest reptile? You're right. Which?
The path to riches and money is often more than arduous. That was also the experience of the Australian opal prospectors of Coober Pedy. More than 3/4 of these valuable precious stones worldwide are found in South Australia. After hard work in an outdoor temperature of 55 degrees centigrade. With so much hot work, the longing for cooling is only too understandable. That's why these moles of fortune have simply moved their home underground, the only sunless place in the midst of the desert. Over the course of time, a whole community has come into being, with everything needed for living: shops, a swimming bath, a church, and a hotel. Incidentally, anyone who wants to stay overnight in Coober Pedy and can't afford the subterranean hotel even has the opportunity to resort to a campsite. An underground one, of course.
Welcome to Tour 2.
Where can these sights be seen? In which Do you know the sights of the world? Then surely you can easily put together the correct pictures and wordings on the postcards. And off goes the post. You're a really smart customer. Splendid. Keep it up. Exactly. Yes, indeed. Which telecommunications tower is situated in Berlin? Which is Europe's highest building? Which is the highest building in the world? What is the famous temple in Cambodia called? Which palace is in Tibet?
The passion for collecting knows no bounds. And the Japanese indulge in it as well. black diamonds are more than hotly desired, and who wouldn't make a beeline for precious stones? However, Japan's black diamonds fly themselves because they're plump, black stag beetles. Beetle collecting really is an absolute cult in the Far East, and the demand for the winged vermin can be satisfied only with difficulty. Top prices of about £50,000 have already been achievable for particularly beautiful specimens. Exotic beetles from the four corners of the earth are smuggled secretly into the country for eager collectors. And so that the Japanese can now buy them regardless of shop opening hours, the first beetle vending machines are now already available. 2 beetles crawl around in each glass top drawer. For the equivalent of about £3, they drop straight into your outstretched palm after you put the money in. To crawl away?
Each country in the world has a different national abbreviation. Drag the sports bag with the country name into the track of the runner to match the country abbreviation on his shirt. Wow! Top class! Precisely. Wow! That's right. You really know your way around perfectly. Well chosen. Cool. You're really fast. First class. First class. Each sports bag comes from a different country. Do you know their origins? Then click on the country abbreviation on the indicator board that matches the sports bag. Exactly. Keep it up. Wow! Well done! Truly fantastic. Cool. You really know your way around perfectly. Good. Majestic. Crazy. That went as quick as lightning. Top class. By which abbreviation can you recognise sportsmen and women from the United Arab Emirates? When Cubans take part in competitions, which country identification do they wear? How can you recognise sportsmen and women from Venezuela?
Floating to the shops instead of going on foot would be quite a change. They can tell you a thing or two about that in Thailand. The floating markets of Dan Noen Saduk are world famous and are visited by almost all tourists to the country. The floods of visitors have brought increasing numbers of people onto the water in boats. But the tourists are poor customers. They come mainly to look instead of to buy. That's why bridges and walkways have now been built over the water. While the visitors can walk dry-shod overhead, the business carries on in top gear again down below.
Each country has its own national anthem. Do you recognise it? first class. You recognise the American national anthem straight away. Wow! You really found that quickly. You're really fast. That was as quick as lightning. You did well to find that out. Here you can test how well you know the flags of the world. Oh dear, you won't find the Acropolis here. You've now already recognised Very good. You've now already recognised 6 flags correctly. You're getting better all the time. 11 flags correct already. What is the flag of the USA called? Which symbols appear on the flag of Mauritania? Which heraldic beast has the Commonwealth of Dominica chosen?
Can you imagine that you are 400 meters below the surface of the sea without getting wet? That's actually true on the shore of the Dead Sea in Israel, because nowhere else in the world is there such a deep depression in the Earth's surface. If you don't want to stay dry at all, then of course you can bathe in the Dead Sea as well, and you'll also get a surprise when you do. That's because this saltiest water in the world makes it impossible for you to sink. So, although the Dead Sea isn't exactly a diver's paradise, it's certainly a very special kind of bathing pleasure. Where else can you lie comfortably on the water and read a newspaper at the same time, completely without an airbed?
Here, you can sniff the mountain air and prove that you are a born climber. Click with the mouse on the mountain range you are looking for. Terrific! Hurrah! Exactly. Precisely. Brilliant! That went as quick as lightning. You really know your way around perfectly. And so we carry on to the top. Do you know your way around the mountains? Well done! That's right. Cool! Wow! Top class! Majestic! Absolutely super! Which mountain is in Japan? Which is the highest mountain range? Which is the longest mountain range? Which country has the largest number of active volcanoes? Where are the highest volcanoes in the world to be found?
What would you put into a parcel intended to tell our descendants something about us in a couple of centuries' time? Your Game Boy? A skateboard? Or perhaps even a mail-order company catalogue? The English appeared to be just as perplexed when, in accordance with Egyptian tradition, they wanted to preserve something worth keeping beneath their memorial in Trafalgar Square. Cleopatra's Needle, an obelisk 20 metres high, has stood there since 1882. This stone had been hewn out more than 3,000 years ago in Egyptian quarries and later became a valuable present to the British royal family. Entirely in accordance with the customs of the generous givers, the British wanted to leave something for their descendants below the pedestal of the monument. Whether they took the right decision in choosing the everyday items will probably remain questionable. In addition to an edition of the Times of 1882 and a current railway timetable, they decided in favour of a picture of Queen Victoria, coins, toys, hairpins, and photos. Incidentally, these pictures showed sights of a quite special kind. The 12 best-looking English women of that time were depicted.
Here, we're talking about the biggest lakes in the various continents. Wow! Top class! Perfect! That went as quick as lightning. Splendid! Perfect! Well done! Without paddles, the planned boat trip will probably come to nothing. Can you send them to the correct destinations? Which lake in Asia is in danger of drying up? Where is the biggest island in a lake? Which lake is in Australia? Where is the highest altitude lake in the world? In which mountain range is Lake Titicaca situated? Which lake has the most islands? Which lake is shared between Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya? Which lake is in Canada?
A real flea market devotee can never be fed up with rummaging. However, even real professionals would run out of puff, or petrol, at the longest flea market in the world. That's because without a car, strolling a distance of about 720 kilometres is quite unmanageable. This flea market really does take place each year in August in the USA and stretches through the federal states of Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee and Georgia. What is known as the 127 Corridor Sale, in which more than 3,000 sellers along the highway take care of innumerable customers, lasts for 4 days. The idea for this attraction was thought up in 1987 by a governor in Alabama who wanted to use it to divert traffic from the main roads to less heavily loaded side streets. At that time, nobody expected that one day it would become the longest flea market in the world.
Where do these islands belong? All in. Wow! Absolutely accurate. Well chosen. The public are amazed and the experts marvel. Distribute the parasols to the correct islands. Click on a parasol and then use the mouse to drag it onto the right island. Which of these groups of islands lies in the Atlantic? Which of these islands is separated from the Chinese mainland by the Formosa Strait? Which country possesses the largest number of islands? What is the name of the Japanese island with the largest area?
You've answered everything correctly.
In the house of Sarah Winchester in San Jose, USA, you can marvel at the fact that persecution mania can ultimately lead to one of the craziest houses in the world. Until her death, she held building work carried out on the 160 rooms of her house for more than 38 years. The crazy thing about it is the way she did this. Rooms were built onto one another completely at random. Stairs lead nowhere, and behind doors there are walls or even a sheer drop. Innumerable secret passages and shafts make the confusion so complete that neither the building workers nor the servants could find their way around the house. Apart from the owner, everyone was hopelessly lost in the labyrinth. And that was intentional, because Sarah Winchester suffered from a frightful persecution mania. Her husband had invented the famous Winchester rifle, as a result of which countless victims had lost their lives in battles. After her husband had died a very rich man, the widow now feared that the spirits of the dead could return to take revenge on her. So she remained continually on the run from the imaginary pursuers. Every night, a different bedroom. Every morning, a different bathroom. No one ever knew where she was at any time. Incidentally, the spirits were not the only ones who were scared away. Burglars never risked approaching the millionairess either.